Supporters of Edo State Governor Mondo Okpebholo and other APC members celebrating the Edo State Governorship Tribunal verdict where they dismissed the petition of the PDP candidate, Aso Ighodalo. The judgment of the tribunal didn't come as a surprise to many Nigerians, not because they believe that Mondo Okpebholo truly won the election fair and square. No, it was because of the precedent that Nigerian judiciary has set over the years, especially since the 2023 Presidential Election Tribunal. Their precedent means that whoever that is not declared winner by INEC in any election, there's virtually zero chance, the person stands nearly zero chance of being declared winner at the tribunal. So based on that, Nigerians no longer have confidence in the judiciary to do the right thing, despite the fact that the Edo State governorship election was marred by serious irregularities, overvoting, vote buying. In fact, when you look at some of the results like this one, you will see they use TPEX to clean off some of the figures. When you see results like this, it's obvious what went wrong. Because if proper collation is done, it's as simple as entering the figures that have been already calculated. Yes, when you total figures from all the polling units in a particular ward or local government area, how can you make mistake in such a situation? Even if one makes a mistake once, that's acceptable. No one is infallible. But making a mistake more than twice, thrice, so it's obvious what went wrong. When you are trying to make up figures, they are looking at other results. They will say, he needs to make up for the loss. Maybe he's losing by about 3,000 votes in one particular local government area. So the results from this area have already been written, so they have to use TPEX to reduce the results and, adjust the figures in such a way that they will make up for the losses of another local government area. Also, more about why Nigerians are not disappointed in the verdict of the Edo State Governorship Election Tribunal. Here, before the election, Tinubu bragged that he will deliver Edo State to APC.
One thing I can show you is this. Do you want Edo back? Yeah! As the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will give Edo back to you.
In a sane world, INEC shouldn't accept such a messy result sheet. Yes, but it is the same INEC officials that entered and collected these results. So who is going to police them? That's left for the courts. That's why an election petition tribunal is always set up after any election so that the justices can take a look at what INEC did. But the question remains, do they really do the work? Do they really take a look at the results? Because it doesn't make any sense. When you talk about election, you talk about figures. It is the person that scored the highest figure in an election that is always declared winner by INEC. But we all know that they are not always correct. That's the job of the tribunal. They force petitioners to do all the work of INEC. They collect all evidence, photocopy, many things they do, logistics. And at the end of the day, they don't even sort the results to see actual figures, to see whether what INEC declared is actually correct. So they never do the job that they are paid to do. Yes, we are talking about figures here and they don't lie. It's very easy to determine overvoting. It's as simple as comparing the number of votes cast in a polling unit to the number of accredited voters. It will instantly show you whether there was overvoting or not. So if these justices cannot do the job, they can hire assistants to help them to calculate these figures. It doesn't make any sense that they set up election petition tribunal. At this tribunal, the justices don't even take a look at the figures. So if they can't do their job, candidates in future elections don't need to waste their time going to any election tribunal. Yes, because all these increase the cost of election in Nigeria. You have to plan for campaigns, you have to plan for the elections proper, and after the election, if you are robbed, you still have to plan and budget for tribunal. And people wonder why they don't perform in office when they win the so-called election. Yes, imagine the billions a candidate wastes in just getting to that office. And when he gets there, you think he will not start recovering his money. It's an investment, whether he paid you to vote for him or not. All the obstacles he must overcome before getting to that office. At any level, people around him will tell him, Oga, when you win now, you will forget us, you will be eating alone. Settle us now, pay us our own now. And he will continue settling. In fact, this is the major reason people sell their votes, because they always say, all politicians are the same. When he gets there, he will start stealing money. Let me take my own from him now. So he has to budget for campaigns, paying all sorts of people. Even election day proper, they spend billions of naira, not just for people that will monitor the elections for them at the polling unit everywhere. And when he's rigged out at the end of the day, he will still have to budget billions again for the tribunal. And people think that after the candidate might have spent all this money, he will not take a look back and say, I'm not Father Christmas, I have to recover some of the money. It's over budget. It's not my fault that these people robbed me. I have to recover that money. So all these processes are not helping anyone. They're only helping the people in power. They increase corruption in governance. Because even if you're a nice person and your original budget was something like maybe 5 billion naira for the governorship election, and at the end of the day, after your mandate was stolen, you are forced to spend more, maybe this time borrow to go to court to recover that mandate. After all that, you think that that person will not look back and say, this is justified. I'm not stealing this money, I'm just recovering my money. So we are turning around in circles. Now, in a first, since the 2023 presidential election, the US government has criticized the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal verdict. In a statement released by the US Mission in Nigeria, they said, the US Mission in Nigeria is following the Edo election appeal process closely, particularly given civil society's concerns about critical issues related to the election, such as serious lapses in the collation process that were observed. Ambassador Mills reiterates his statement on September 24 that transparency and due process are crucial to maintaining public confidence in any democratic system. The United States reaffirms our commitment to supporting free, fair, transparent, and credible elections in Nigeria and will continue to monitor the situation closely. This is proof that a new sheriff is in town. Under the Biden administration, this would have never happened. The highest they would have done is to tweet congratulations to the winner. Yes, that was exactly what they did in 2023 presidential election. Despite the fact that their countrymen monitored the election, they had strong words for INEC. In fact, the report they released, including that of the EU and ECOWAS, was very damning. But despite all this, they still went ahead and congratulated the winner without saying anything, completely overlooking their own report. Now, under the Trump administration, they are making it very clear that it will not be business as usual. And to be fair to the former US President Joseph Biden, it was under his administration that the US sanctioned the current Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kekereekun. The reason for her visa denial at the time, she wasn't even the Chief Justice by that time, was because of her role in the Supreme Court verdict that returned Hope Uzodinma as Imo State Governor. In that Imo State governorship election, Hope Uzodinma came fourth. Ihedioha was declared winner by INEC, but somehow INEC failed to defend him at the Supreme Court. They couldn't tender the results they relied on to declare Ihedioha as winner in the Imo State governorship election, which was very, very strange. How can they be claiming that this person won the election, but they didn't present any evidence? At least they must have some copies of the election to defend what they said, but they never did anything. That was how Hope Uzodinma and his team manufactured these results from the local government area. They told the court that they obtained these copies from the police, and these police copies of the results were never matched to any copy held by PDP or other parties. Of course, INEC failed to tender their own copy. Now, based on all this, the Supreme Court panel, headed by Kekereekun, added these new figures to that of Hope Uzodinma, and that pushed him to win the election. So the US government saw that as abracadabra. That was why they denied her visa. It's not clear if she can still travel to the US now. So the US government should take it further. All the justices involved in this perversion of justice, including the ones that will hear the appeal at the Supreme Court, all of them must come under sanctions. If anything passed under the table, they received anything from either the petitioner or the winner of the election, they must stay in Nigeria here to spend that money. Yes, they can't be running away to go and spend it where everything works, when they put in all effort to make sure Nigeria never works. So let them come under the sanctions. Maybe it might teach them a lesson. Thanks for watching.